Welcome. I was going to live stream about the incident that occurred yesterday in that Mormon church and how we should be treating Mormons, especially online. But, well, I had to take a little bit of a detour on that. So if you guys were waiting for that and excited about that, it's coming. Okay. But I thought this was more important and took a little bit more of precedence over that topic. So, okay, if you don't know, Pope Leo was interviewed about the situation regarding the award. I believe it's from the Archbishop of Chicago, awarding a pro-choice senator, or at least not opposed to legalizing abortion in the public sphere. Well, he was asked about that, and then he made some comments on capital punishment, abortion, linking those two together, and basically saying, if you support, well, actually, let me back up. Let me just back up, okay? Let me back up. This is going to be a very controversial subject, okay? It's going to get tense. Now, I realize the stark divide between Catholics on the death penalty. So, believe it or not, I actually want to be somewhat sympathetic and sensitive to that, because we're all human beings, and whatever we're struggling with, or whatever we believe in a certain regards, I want to respect that. Okay, so I'm not just trying to dunk on everybody here and say I'm right and you're all wrong. So that's the little preface. Okay, that's what I want to warn you with. But yeah, so Pope Leo, we'll watch it here in just a minute, but yeah, Pope Leo was interviewed, and he made some remarks that just reaffirmed what the past three popes have been saying. Okay, about the death penalty, more or less, about immigration, more or less, and really the inviolability and the dignity of the human person, the ontological dignity of the human person, and how that should never be violated. So I'm going to share, or actually I'm going to play the clip, okay? And then we can talk about it. But yeah, everybody, I don't know how many hours this happened ago, but everybody on Twitter and YouTube freaking out about this, just freaking out about this, okay? So I think it's fitting that we talk about it tonight, okay? If you don't like this topic, this subject, if you think it's boring, it's been beaten to death, whatever, you're indifferent about it, I understand. But let me just do this stream. Let me get all this out. Let me hear from you guys. I want to be sympathetic to everybody. I want us not to be more divided. I want us to be united, okay? Because I really do think that this specific moral dilemma, this moral issue, namely capital punishment within the Catholic Church in the United States, is what's going to divide us even more. I hope to God not. I pray not. But I think it just might. So let's play the clip here. Yeah. So you guys can figure it out for yourselves, and then we'll talk about it.
Question in English. Just a quick
one question in English.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking with us. I just wanted to ask one thing that has become a bit of a divisive subject in the U.S. right now, with Cardinal Supich giving an award to Senator Durbin. Some people of faith are having a hard time with understanding this because he is or rather, he's for legalized abortion. How would you help people of faith right now decipher that, feel about that, and how do you feel about that?
I'm not terribly familiar with the particular case. I think that it's very important to look at the overall work that a senator has done during, if I'm not mistaken, 40 years of service in the United States Senate. I understand the difficulty and the tensions, but I think, as I myself have spoken in the past, it's important to look at many issues that are related to what is the teaching of the church. Someone who says I'm against abortion but says I'm in favor of the death penalty is not really pro-life. So,
okay, hold on. I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm not going to give a commentary or an analysis, yes. But just remember, he prefaced it with what? Church teaching. Those were his words, church teaching. Everyone's saying, oh, this is just his opinion, his off-the-cuff remark. This isn't magisterial, definitive, like blah, 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 blah. And actually, they're kind of right. But remember, he was saying he's just reiterating church teaching. That's all I'm saying.
So someone who says that I'm against abortion, but I'm in agreement with the inhuman treatment of immigrants who are in the United States, I don't know if that's pro-life. So they're very complex issues. I don't know if anyone has all the truth on them, but I would ask first and foremost that there be greater respect for one another and that we search together both as human beings, in that case as American citizens or citizens of the state of Illinois, as well as Catholics, to say we need to really look closely at all of these ethical issues and to find the way forward as church. The church teaching on each one of those issues is very clear.
Oh, sorry. The church teaching on those issues is very clear. Guys, this is an American. This is a red-blooded American born in the USA, right? Who is a pro-life American. He's pro-life. He's against abortion. So it's interesting that he's actually tying in capital punishment with being, or at least saying that you are pro-life. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to be sympathetic to everybody. I'm going to be sympathetic. And I'm not here to try to make you feel uneasy or unrest with your conscience. Okay. But the thing that just kind of shocks me a little bit, it baffles me, is how everybody, and again, I know it ebbs and flows. It kind of, fades and then it rises. But everyone's losing their mind over this when this has been church teaching, for how long? And I have come to the conclusion, and I'm not encapsulating everybody watching this or in the comments section, but I have come to the conclusion that in the United States, because again, I'm not in other countries. I don't know what's going on over there, how people are divided politically, ideologically, and stuff like that. All I know is the United States and what's reported online and in the media and stuff like that. But as far as I know, when it comes to things like capital punishment, right, and it being inadmissible, and then the entire country, at least in my experience, online and in real life, everyone is against that teaching in Fratelli Tutti and paragraph 2267. But why? Why? So you're Catholic, right? You're Catholic. Why are you, if it's culpable or not, I'm not going to judge, but why are you dissenting from the ordinary universal magisterium on this? It's like Pope Leo said, it's very clear. This isn't some ambiguous, like, oh, we're still trying to work things out, blah, 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 blah. No, the church teaching is very, very clear. Okay. And this is my hypothesis. And again, this does not encapsulate everybody. I'm not making a hasty generalization. In the United States, we are, dare I say, more than any other country in the world, more politically charged. We have more political ideologies and infatuation with political stances, opinions, and ideologies than any other nation on the earth. We're the most divided nation when it comes to politics. And really, a lot of people, they find their self, their identity by their political party and ideology. That's what shapes their milieu or their reality. That's their milieu, their political ideology. So we have a lot of Catholics in the United States. Okay. And again, I'm not saying anyone is whatever. But what I've noticed that these people that don't want to submit with religious submission of intellect will to the ordinary universal magisterium of Fratelli Tutti in paragraph 2267, and in a sense, Evangelium Vitae, I hate to say it, but they're neocon, narrow nationalists. They are radical conservatives. Hey, I've never voted for a Democrat my whole life, ever. I never will. but I'm not about to let my political party, my political ideology, or the way I was raised in the political milieu or whatever, shape my mind and my conscience and how I treat the magisterium, how I submit or I dissent from the magisterium. Because what goes on in the United States more than any other country probably? Scrutiny and criticizing of people in higher authority positions, especially the president of the United States and Congress and whatever. It's all we do. I mean, I don't, but that's all everyone does. They just listen to political radio all day long and see how much they can like have contempt for the people on the other side, right? But then they happen to be Catholic. So a perfect example of this, and again, do I love them? Sure. Do I like them? I don't know. Would I let them babysit my kids? Probably not. The perfect encapsulation, or I'm sorry, the perfect paradigm of this. I got two people in my mind, and I think some people might get a little offended here. But guys, I'm just telling you, see, I'm sympathetic towards you. I love you guys, but my channel isn't merely to make revenue or to generate revenue or to grow in subscribers or get popular or whatever. That's all good and nice, and I like those things. But at the end of the day, I want to save souls. I want to protect people, and I want to try, right, in charity and respect to your dignity, to lead you on a good path that doesn't end in dissent from the magisterium. I know I hate saying those words. I'm not saying anyone's dissenting, but that's just the God honest truth. That's why I'm going to say what I'm going to say. So two figures and their political ideologues in the United States. Forget about what they believe in. Forget about what they say, how popular they are, all this stuff, right? The problem is the influence that these guys have on especially Gen Z Catholics. But just in the United States. I sense it's so palpable how many people, the way they think, the way they talk, is because of people like this. So first and foremost, Matt Walsh, right? Never cared for what he does. I don't care what he's about. I don't like anything that he does or what he is. He's just condescending. He's uncharitable. He's polemical. He doesn't love his enemies. It's just he's a political ideologue that happens to be Catholic. Okay. I think he gives Catholicism a bad name. But he has so much sway and influence on people of all ages. I see Catholics retweeting Matt Walsh all the time. And what they're retweeting, right, aren't just, these like political points or, stuff on the economy or whatever, ad hominems, cussing, just all this stuff. And you guys will downplay it. You guys will downplay it, right? Like, oh, man up. It's just ad hominems. It's just some cussing. Okay, are you guys pagans or are you Catholics trying to be saints? Are you guys pagans or are you Catholics trying to be saints? And you might get indignant at me and point the finger. Okay, I've crashed out. I've had my problems, right? But you got it, guys. You can't have two masters. Choose the magisterium or choose your political ideologue. That's going to shape your mind, the way you talk, the way you feel, the way you act as a Catholic. Now, the other one that I want to talk about, and again, I am very sympathetic because I would say the majority of my members and subscriber count, at least the ones that interact and engage with my channel, like on these live streams, are Gen Z. And I have a very special place in my heart for my Gen Z Catholics because in a sense, they are my channel. They've made my channel go. They challenge me. They've actually helped me out a lot in times of distress, dire straits, and all that stuff. So you guys don't take this the wrong way. If you disagree with me, that's okay. Constructively disagree with me and talk to me, and we can have a discussion. Don't get mad. Don't crash out, okay? But I'm going to just say this. If this stings, know that it comes from love, okay? Know that it comes from love. Because if we're Catholics and if we're going to have unity and communion with each other and solidarity, we have to look out for each other in love, right? The one person, again, and you guys, if you guys unsubscribe or cancel the membership over this, so be it. So about a year ago, I created this YouTube channel, right? Trust me, we're going to get more to the death penalty, but just hold on. About a year ago, I created this YouTube channel. And I had no idea what laid ahead of me. Around the same time, maybe a few months after that, I created what I probably was the biggest mistake in my life, Twitter X, a Twitter X account, right? I had no idea what laid ahead of me. YouTube, Twitter, right? And again, I know, superficial, right? Just online, just social media platforms. No, we're real people on there, guys. So I get to know a lot of my members and subscribers and the people that come into the channel on the live stream. And again, a lot of them are Gen Z Catholics. But what was weird, and again, I'm not judging, guys. Don't think I'm pointing a finger at your heart and I'm judging your culpability. So if you're taking offense right now, man up. Just man up. If you want to disagree with me and make a video and react to this, fine. But a lot of people, I don't know why I attracted a lot of Gen Z Catholics to this channel. I don't know if it was my humor, my apologetics. I don't know. A lot of Gen Z Catholics. And I loved every single one of them, and I still love every single one of them. But I noticed in a very gradual way, this tendency, this fad, the way they talked, the way they lived, the way, just all this stuff, their humor, their apologetics, their politics, all this stuff. I noticed something, but I'm like, I couldn't put a finger on it. I didn't know what it was. I kind of rolled with it a little bit. I would rebuke when I thought it was prudent, but a lot of the times I tolerated it because I didn't want to come off as some, like fascist, regulator or whatever. It's just like, whatever. If you're going to be that way, if you're going to talk that way, that's fine. You guys can be that way. But I noticed over the time, and I would call people out, like I just said, that not all the Gen Z Catholics. So if you're getting mad right now and you're getting offended, it's because you're guilty. Because I just said it's not all of you guys. But a lot of these Gen Z Catholics, I would notice, first and foremost, anti-Semitic behavior. Now, the thing about it is we're not talking about just joking in a Discord or whatever other, more hidden or not as public platform or whatever. So a lot of anti-Semitic stuff, but not just the whole like, oh, I'm just going to call you a Jew, or I'm going to just, the flag of Israel or whatever. When you're attaching derogatory ad hominems to prominent Catholic apologists that are Jewish, bro, you have a problem. And it doesn't even come out of originality. It comes from someone that you won't admit thinks for you and talks for you. Literally, thinks for you and talks to you. So anti-Semitism. Yeah. Which is racism. And that goes along with the word that a lot of these guys always use. Nigger or Nigga. And you're thinking, oh, chill out, Catholic Christian. What? It's just multicultural joking or whatever. Well, I dare you to go in public, get off your Twitter, get off your YouTube where you can hide behind it, or your Discord where you can hide behind it. Go up to a black male, at least 6 foot tall, at least under his 40s. And go say that. Matter of fact, take 4 of your friends with you. and go to one black male and say that to his face, you'll be in a wheelchair. Because if there's one thing our African brothers and sisters know how to do, it's, fight. And I've seen it with my own eyes at bars. I've seen 2 black people take on like 5 or 6 white guys. And it was the white guys with the racial tendencies that egged and provoked them, and they got what was coming at them. So man up and go to someone in public, in real life, and say that to them. Okay, anti-Semitism, racism. Now, here's maybe in a sense the one that I kind of have the biggest problem with. Misogyny. And again, hey, context, time, and place. I could, in a sense, with my wife to her face, if it's just her and I, not in public, I could make a misogynistic joke or misogynistic undertones or whatever. I could, whatever, context, everything. But the fact that you have a stark contempt for women to the point where all they can do is make babies, cook, and clean the house. You guys are what's known, and again, I'm not saying you guys, but you're just subscribing to the person that's thinking for you and talking for you. And it's unoriginal. That's to me, that's the saddest part about it all. You're letting someone else lead you to somewhere, or at least on your way, that you probably shouldn't be going by the way you're acting. Okay? And what's ironic about the whole misogyny crap is that, it's cool and it's hip and it's edgy until we get to our Blessed Mother, or maybe a female saint who happens to be a doctor of the church. Oh, then we gotta chill. Then we gotta chill. Then there's no such thing as misogyny. Don't talk to your mother. Don't talk to any woman except your mother and our Blessed Mother. like, what is that? So again, this is gradual. This is happening over a year, and I just can't figure it out. Why all these talking heads who would never say any of this crap in real life, why are they like, it's like everywhere I go online, on X, on YouTube. And again, 99% of them are male and Gen Z. What is going on here? And then I figured it out. I don't know how I didn't know before. But I'm like, I gotta research this. I gotta know why Gen Z Catholics are like this. And it's one person, again, that is thinking for you and talking for you, and you're unoriginal. Absolutely unoriginal. And it's why you don't accept the death penalty being inadmissible, because you idolize this dude. You think he's the coolest, edgy, nuanced, novel, like, oh my gosh, like, it's the best thing since sliced bread thing. Yeah. NJF. Groiperism. What a disease in the Gen Z Catholic world. And if you're getting offended, that's revealing. That says something about yourself. If you're indifferent and don't care, that means you don't look up to this dude or idolize the dude. You don't let this dude act as a puppet master and a marionette. I have never seen something more disgusting in my 10 years of being a Catholic is that dude. The fact that he can say he's a Catholic and that he goes to mass is mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. It's just shocking to me. The whole race mixing thing, if you're in an interracial marriage, your spouse that is of another color is a brute animal. It's basically you're partaking in bestiality. My wife is from the Philippines. My wife is Filipina. my kids are half Filipina. The reason why this dude exists and still exists is because of you Gen Z morons that can't think for yourselves. You need to idolize the kid. His political ideology and his mannerisms, the way he talks, the way all this crap has infected Gen Z, Catholics. Guys, we're not secularists. We're not pagans. We're not atheists. And in a sense, we're not Protestants. We're not Orthodox. We do have the fullness of the truth. We have all the sacraments. We are called to something greater than any other non-Catholic Christian or anyone else of faith, because we have the greatest gift, and that is being a Catholic in communion with the Pope and having the Eucharist. So for you to have Nick, I'm not even going to say the name. For you to have Nick, again, NJF, right, guide everything. The way you think, the way you talk, your jokes, all that stuff, be original. Come up with your own jokes, okay? You're literally letting him live in your head. And you're choosing political ideologies like the ones that he touts, override your submission to the magisterium, the ordinary universal magisterium, especially when it comes to the death penalty. I can't tell you how disillusioned I was and kind of still am when I became Catholic. How many bona fide Catholics dissent and protest the Pope. And you know what's funny? You know how they get out of it? You know how they try to like work their way through it? Guess what they appeal to? Everything before Pope Francis. You know what that's called? Sedevacantism. Just like everything before Pope Paul VI. Weird. You guys believe in doctrinal development, but you don't believe in the development of anthropology. You know what I'm saying? That's why the death penalty is inadmissible. Because it violates the inviolability and the dignity of the human person. Now, here's a question. I'm going to pull this up. We're going to pull up Ed Fazer. Okay? You guys, enough yapping for me. But Ed Fazer, man, this crap is... You're free to leave, man. If that's how you feel, then just leave or man up. Everyone who disagrees with me, no, everyone who disagrees with Pope Francis in the ordinary universal magisterium. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Like, it's just ridiculous. Okay, Ed Fazer. We love Ed Fazer. So see, people that are getting offended, right? You got to be a groiper, because otherwise you wouldn't get offended. Do you love this kid? I mean, I don't understand. I seriously don't understand. All right. So this is Ed Fazer. I've actually went back and forth with this cat. I've went back and forth with Ed Fazer on the death penalty. And I'm going to show you why he dissents from the ordinary universal magisterium, and now why he's starting to do it with Pope Leo. Okay? So he's retweeting and quoting Raymond Arroyo on EWTN just about what happened in that interview. So this is what he says. With due respect to the Pope, that's a pretext. It's a false pretense. It's stupid. Why you don't even need to say that, because you don't with due respect to the Pope, even though I dissent, but I still have respect. I'll still say I have respect, even though I don't agree with them. With due respect to the Pope, the remark is manifestly false. He's talking about if you don't think the death penalty is inadmissible, I don't know how you can be pro-life. That's what he's talking about. To cite just a few names among many. See, okay, you guys get offended when I say sede. sede ideology. Well, you tell me what this is when you dissent from the present current magisterium and you appeal to everything prior. You're telling me that isn't sede ideology? If you take offense at that, maybe you have sede ideology. But you know who agrees with Ed Fazer on this death penalty business? Peter Diamond. Yeah, exactly. To cite just a few names among many, sainted doctors of the church, such as St. Thomas Aquinas. Okay, first of all, St. Thomas Aquinas. For St. Thomas Aquinas, the death penalty was legitimate, but not a necessary penalty for civil society. Okay, it didn't necessarily come from natural law, but a human law to protect the common good. So what he says here, actually he doesn't say it in here, but what Fazer will say is that you can't link abortion, the intrinsic evil of abortion, to that of death penalty. So what he's saying is death penalty isn't intrinsically evil. You know what's hilarious about that? So what? Why does something have to be intrinsically evil for it to be inadmissible? Oh, I don't know. How about polygamy? What does St. Thomas Aquinas say about polygamy? Yeah, it's not against natural law because the end of procreation is still there. Right. And then he says, Alphonsus Liguori, St. John Henry Newman. Why doesn't he have the saints in front of him? We're against abortion and for the death penalty. Nobody, gosh, this is so ignorant. Like he's leagues above me in terms of intelligence. Leagues. Okay. And that's what makes it just that much more sad. So what he says, can you guys not see that here? Let me zoom in. These guys were for the death penalty. No, nobody's ever been for it. Okay. I think the best example you might have is Pope Pius XII. Or the 11th. I'm sorry, one of those. But no one promoted the death penalty. It was a concession prescribed, particularly in the Mosaic law, to deter people from committing grave sin. So the severity of the sin would be prevented or deterred based on the punishment at hand. Yeah, death. But rarely was it carried out. You know what I mean? And then you go to the New Testament and you have no indications. And don't quote Romans 13. All that's saying is that the secular authorities have power to inflict punishment in a general way. It doesn't say like, oh yeah, capital punishment. We can do it whenever we want, however we want. No, it's not what it says. So in fact, like Pope St. John Paul II in Evangelium Vitae, here, let me just pull that one up. Hold on. This is what he says. He says, quote, and yet God, who is always merciful, even when he punishes, weird, put a mark on Cain, lest any who come upon him should kill him. He thus gave him a distinctive sign, not to condemn him to the hatred of others, but to protect and defend him from those wishing to kill him, even out of a desire to avenge Abel's death. Listen to this. This is Pope St. John Paul II. Not even a murderer loses his personal dignity, and God himself pledges to guarantee this. That's okay. You'll never see Ed Fazer quote that. You'll never see him do it. You'll never see him quote Pope Francis. What will you see him quote? Preconciliar magisterial documents, saints, and so on. You want to get pissed at me for saying sede ideology? What else would you call that? It's called backwardism. Okay, you go backwards, not like appealing to tradition in an organic way, but you go in an inordinate way, and it becomes an ideology that pits preconciliar with postconciliar. It's so obvious. You don't have to be a theologian to understand what's going on here with these guys. You don't, it's simple. It is super simple. So, and then he says, as were sainted popes such as Innocent I, Pius V, that's kind of funny. We know about Pius V. Pius X. I imagine Leo would not dare to suggest these great heroes of the Catholic faith were not really pro-life. Okay. And then guys, look at this. Let me share this with you. This is revealing. This is probably the apex of everything I've been arguing against. Right here. Look at this. Can you see that? Look at these comments. Can you see those comments? I need you to see those comments. Sorry. Hey, if you want to, here, let me say this. If you want to watch and support NJF or Matt Walsh or any other political ideologue, do it. But don't let the ideology run the way you live and think and talk. That's all I'm saying. Fine. Guys, I went and watched NJF. Here's the thing. I agreed with him on some things. You know what I mean? I'm not that dense and that, partial or whatever, or biased. Yeah. But why would I support this? Oh my gosh. It's like the most cancerous thing to the Gen Z Catholic milieu and population. It just boggles my mind how people can support this dude. Yeah, I've seen some of those comments. So that must mean you're groypers. Yep. So I would say, seriously, get your head examined or talk to your priest. Seriously. I don't have an ideology. My ideology is the magisterium of the Catholic Church. So, yeah. Okay. So look at these comments. What is it? One thing is, it's why I'm leaving the Catholic Church and embracing Orthodoxy. More aligned with my values. Now, to be fair, you can't just blame this on everybody else. That's just him. That's just one isolated person. I'm not saying this dude is watching a certain political activist or, supporting a political ideologue or whatever. But it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Let's see. Look at this. Every time I have a passing interest in converting to Catholicism, I see stuff like this and wonder what I was thinking. Now, here's the thing. What is he seeing? Look at this. Pope Leo claims that if you oppose abortion but support the death penalty, then you're not pro-life. What in the world is this SHIT? So remember, the guy that's posting it is already giving a negative spin on it, obviously. One second. Oh my gosh. Don't forget that our Lord and Savior was the victim of corporal punishment at the hands of the government. The most ignorant, stupidest thing I think I've ever heard. Our Lord was a victim of many evils. It doesn't mean that they're acceptable. Okay. But that's really what makes me feel, I don't know, kind of remiss, kind of sad, is the fact that, and I've said it before, guys, so I don't want to sound like a resounding gong. You have a Protestant in good faith following the dictates of his or her conscience. And this person is interested in more, whatever, historical Orthodox Christianity, whatever you want to call it. But they can't decide between Eastern Orthodoxy or Catholicism. Okay? So what do? Now, again, I know some of this falls on the person. You can't just blame external agents here, okay? But nonetheless. So the person's online watching videos or going through articles and tracts and blah, 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 blah. Well, when you see Catholics attacking other Catholics, I'm not talking about constructive criticism or, chaste rebukes and reactions. No, I'm talking about inordinate crap. To the point where you see all these United States Catholics. Now, this isn't Gen Z. This is all generations. when you see Catholics constantly, not just like having an internal questioning or like an internal doubt or, I'm really confused. I really want to no, but like a stark and ordinate criticism. And this Protestant will see all this crap all over the internet of dissenting. Maybe I should use another word. That's a strong word. Of at least not seemingly giving their full submission or the benefit of the doubt to the Pope and the magisterial teachings. Okay? So when they see that, but then then look at orthodoxy. I know it's apples to oranges for obvious many reasons, but you don't see that much in Eastern Orthodoxy as you do in Catholicism. Again, apples to oranges for 15 different reasons. But that person's going to be more prone to wanting to join Orthodoxy. And I've seen it. And I've known people with big channels with lots of influence that call Vatican II heretical. Pope Francis is the Antichrist or the false prophet, or at least he's teaching heresy, one of those three. Why would any Protestant or non-Catholic or anyone, atheist, why would anyone want to join the Catholic Church when they see their own attacking their own in that fashion? Bottom up, you know what I'm saying? It just baffles me. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And it's going to get worse. And it's going to get worse. And that's why I'm talking about this, because it pisses me off. Sorry. Hold on. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. When there is a certain person online whom I've had on my channel at least 2 to 3 times. He's Protestant. 2 to 3 times on my channel. And we've had the most beautiful, ecumenical, charitable, respectful dialogues. Disagreed very much so. And you could tell as he was criticizing Catholicism and Orthodoxy, I personally knew people that deterred him from becoming Catholic. Now, I say that in the sense that I can't just isolate it to that, and I don't know if that's the real reason, but I will say that this individual, among a few others, made it almost impossible to want to make the Catholic faith look attractive or to want to come to the Catholic Church. You know what I mean? That's been my experience. That's why I'm righteous indignation, whatever you want to call it. And it's sad. And it's funny because I didn't really know it until it was too late. I could never put like my finger on it. I could never do it because it's like, I thought these, again, not all Gen Z, but the Gen Zs, I thought they were all just, they're in their 20s. They're just having fun. And again, they are. I love them. When I was 20, I was doing things entirely worse, more reprehensible than these guys. Okay. Let's just get that out of there. So it's not like a jam your eye out with my log into my own. But again, if you have, guys, seriously, I mean this out of love. If you struggle with this kind of stuff in your rhetoric, the way you tear people down, the way that you proselytize, the way that you call people retards and NIGGER and degrade women and call them Jews, why would they want to become Catholic? Why? Tell me, I want to know why would they want to become Catholic? Here's another thing that I've heard. So a lot of these people, and this isn't just NJF, I would say it's another 2 Catholic apologists online that I find the stuff they're saying is reprehensible. You know what I always hear? Look at how many people they're bringing into the Catholic Church. Hey, just, if they're preaching the gospel, they're preaching the gospel, right? I mean, however you got to get someone in the Catholic Church. But this is the problem I have with that. First, it sounds like a justification for their immoral behavior, or at least their imprudent and imprecise behavior. Oh, at least they're bringing, well, why would you have to say that? Yeah, to justify their crap. That's why you have to say that. Now, let's say NJF and the other 2 I mentioned are bringing just droves, just droves into the Catholic Church. The danger about that, again, inherently, in of itself, it's a good thing. If someone's has the right disposition and legitimately through his conscience wants to join the Catholic Church, amen. But here's the problem I have. You're going to bring someone into the Catholic Church through you and your channel and your talking, your rhetoric, all that stuff, your persuasion. Then they're Catholic. They're probably still going to follow you. And are they going to become resentful and disillusioned when they really find out that you think the Pope is a heretic? You think the Pope is, a false prophet or whatever, or he's teaching heresy? Or I don't have to give my religious submission of intellect and will? So it's almost like a bait and switch. Yeah, let's bring him in because I'm edgy and I cuss and I'm anti-Semitic and I'm misogynist and all this stuff. And I'll get them in that way. And then what? They're going to be just as much of a person as you are, but now they're Catholic. So actually that'll make them probably not necessarily, but it's a good probability that they will become the person that they look up to and why they came into the Catholic Church. That's a huge, huge problem. Okay. Now, I've had mistakes. I've made mistakes. I've said things I shouldn't have said. I've put up videos I shouldn't have put up. The titles were imprudent and imprecise. I've made tweets that I've had to delete. That, guys, I'm just as much of a sinner as you are, okay? So don't feel attacked. Don't feel whatever. Don't. All I'm saying is out of love, if you can just kind of sense it a little bit, that I don't want you to act this way ever, but especially in public, like in my chats, on these Discords, on X. Thousands of people are going to see the way a Catholic is carrying him or herself. And if you're scandalizing people through the way you're talking, you're acting like these political ideologues, and you're shaping your, your reality and your milieu around that, and that's what causes you to submit or to dissent from the magisterium. You really just seriously, like, take a look at things of yourself, right? Yeah. Okay, so but I'm sorry. So here's the thing. Guys, don't listen to me. Listen to the Pope. Listen to the ordinary universal magisterium. You're still, apparently there's some guys on here crashing out, saying I'm this, I'm that. That's fine. That's fine. I didn't, did I say, besides NJF, did I point at anyone in my chat? Did I say, oh, you're a groiper, or you're dissenting, or you're blah, 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 blah? No, you know why they're mad? Because what I said pricks their conscience. It pricks their conscience. That's why they're mad. I didn't single anyone out on here. And you know what's funny? They're all in it together. They're literally all in it together. Yeah. So, hey, thanks for the super chats. Yeah. And a lot of these people got kicked out of a Discord. So yeah, there I am pointing the finger. So it's kind of ironic that you guys are crashing out when you get kicked out. Just like your hero gets kicked out and banned all over the place. Obviously, his supporters are going to be like that. If it stings, then just stop acting like an immature groiper. Quit cussing. Here, can I talk about cussing just for a minute? Are you going to think I'm some sanctimonious dad-like figure trying to reprimand their kids? Whatever. Another thing that was just like, I was disillusioned because I stopped cussing before I became Catholic for many reasons. Cussing, if you do it deliberately, is a deliberate venial sin. Deliberate venial sins darkens the intellect, sullies the conscience, and it makes you more susceptible to mortal sin. And if you're doing it in public, yeah. So don't be in public, right? If you have this problem, if you can temper it, right? If you can control yourself, then fine, be in public, or just don't deliberately cuss all day, every day. Not all day, every day, but a lot. But yeah, cussing is the one thing I see people doing. They think it's like, oh, it's just a venial sin. It's just a venial sin. Okay, you guys talk to me about moral theologians. Read St. Alphonsus de Liguori and read Father Garrigou-Lagrange on deliberate venial sin. That's the ironic part, because a lot of guys, again, the Gen Z, not all of them, but if you're getting offended, that's probably you. They're infatuated with theology. Again, theology is great. Theology is important. It's necessary in all of its beauty, but not when you put it before love, and not when you use it just to prove people wrong, just for the sake of proving people wrong, like you guys do. That's like your food and drink. You live off of proving people wrong and lacking all charity and being, I'm sorry, acting anti-Semitic, misogynistic, racist, all that stuff. So yeah, just stop cussing. Dude, I cussed in middle school. You guys are what, 19, 23, 24? Like, really? Yeah. Or have kids. I don't know. Then you'll probably stop cussing. Is Pope Innocent the Third? Oh gosh. Is this Ed Fate? This is so, dude. Okay. Daniel, have you researched it on your own? Or are you going to secondary sources like Ed Feser, neocon political ideologues? What are you doing? All Pope Innocent III says is this. I don't have it up, but if you want me to pull it up, I'll pull it up. Those people of the state, it might be Catholic, I don't know, but those people of the state that partake in the execution of a criminal, the capital punishment, for instance, like, I have an axe, I'm going to chop your head off because you've been sentenced to death. Me holding the axe, throwing it down at you, I don't incur the guilt of mortal sin. That's all it says. It's not promoting the death penalty. And people just, it's sad. It's just sad. I'm sorry. No, females is Filipino. Male is Filipino, but yeah. Oh, I'm gonna ignore that one because I'll go on for another hour. RZ said, notice him or get doxxed. I love you, RZ. Hey, wow, there's someone in here that's kind of maybe understanding what I'm trying to do. It might not be prudent, might not be the best wording, but I urge you to calm down in the peace of Christ. Do not accuse people of grave sins. So, I mean, hey, for $100, thanks. I mean, whom did I personally accuse? Well, the thing is you can actually accuse anyone of grave sin. Grave sin is just external and can be sensed and observed. Now, if they're culpable and it's mortal to the soul, that I will never accuse anyone of for every breath that I take until I die, God willing. So I appreciate the money, but I don't know who I accused of, grave sin, but if I did, I apologize. All right. See? Eastern Orthodox. Gosh, think about it. Boy, I should I go Eastern Orthodox or Catholic? Well, I got a bunch of Catholics, right? Acting groyperish. And then I have an Eastern Orthodox that's not. Yeah, you can understand what I'm saying. Okay. To clarify, you're not saying death penalty is intrinsically evil. I lean towards no. I would concede that I don't know. But the point is that it doesn't have to be intrinsically evil for it to be inadmissible. Correct. Yes. Now, what a lot of lay theologians will do is try to retroactively make sense of the death penalty being sometimes a necessity used by civil law, not natural law. And so they'll appeal to St. Thomas Aquinas. And St. Thomas Aquinas never promoted nor denied it. Like, you didn't say anything. Like, it, sorry. But, yeah. Well, I'm not a theologian. I'm not even an apologist, guys. I'm just some boomer dude. Just some boomer dude. But you know what's funny? You can know all the theology and patristics, anthropology, philosophy. You can know it all, like literally by memory, know it all. But if you don't have the docility of a child and the charity, who gives a rip? So I asked a gal the other day, who's very docile, very pious and devoted to the Catholic Church. I asked rather, do you think that the death penalty is inadmissible? And she said, what does the church teach? I said, well, per the universal ordinary magisterium, the death penalty is inadmissible. You know what she said? That's what I believe. Now, I could have been lying. She's not that naive. She's just saying if that's what the church teaches, then that's what I believe. But no, people get so inundated with their own ego and the knowledge that they have that it blinds them to just a simple fact. If the church teaches that black is white, you obey. That's St. Ignatius of Loyola, right? But yeah. What's going on here? Okay. Why are you begging the question by saying that I don't know it? Where does that come from? Why are you listening? If I don't know anything, why are you on here? Like, go fold your clothes, dude. Yes, bring on the groypers. Well, what time is it? 9:10. Well, if you really want to know, hold on. Who asked that? Hold on a second. Oh my gosh, dude. You don't have to be a theologian to talk about this stuff. There are theologians and philosophers who don't know how to grapple with the fact that the ordinary universal magisterium taught that the death penalty is inadmissible. Why would I need to be a bona fide theologian? Why would I need to go to Ed Fazer when I have my conscience? Like, you guys are so ridiculous. You guys are obsessed with theologians. A lot of them don't know what they're talking about when it comes to this. I will say that they do know a lot on other matters, though. Holy cow, a lot more than I do, but definitely not on this. Your position makes sense and goodwill. You're claiming we need to understand current and past magisterium, harmony, and continuity. Not. Yes, but don't take my word for it. Don't go to me, guys. What I'm saying, when I say don't take my word for it, doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about, or I don't have an opinion, or haven't read on this, or anything like that. What I mean is, you guys need to stop going to certain people and letting them think for you. You let everyone think for you and talk for you, and you idolize these people. And you know who they are, and I know who they are. Catholic, political, whatever. And you will let them think for you to the point where you will not say that the death penalty is inadmissible. That's reprehensible. That's just, try being a Protestant. You know what I mean? So yeah, just these people need to humble themselves and get like, yeah. Anyways, Eric, I hate when I'm not angry. Wait, what? Eric, I hate when you're angry and mad. I miss when you were on stream and said your wife likes Nick's. Hey, I can't speak for okay. Now, I know you meant well. I know Vatican II, I know you meant well. I know you didn't mean anything by that. Now, the whole misogynistic thing, though, can't talk to women, right? But you can bring up women when you slam their wives, right? Oh, yeah. And then everyone will just go to you like you're just the second coming. And I'm not talking about one person in particular. I'm talking about somebody that came after me, 2 people that came after me and made fun of my wife. Yeah, groiperism, interracial marriage, misogyny, saying stuff that they don't even know, they're not even talking about. Get that crap out of your mouths and out of your heads. My gosh. The greatest creature in all the universe is a woman. I don't want to name names, Vatican. I don't want to name names, but it happened. 2 people came after my wife. Not like literally, but just stupid stuff. And it's political conservatism of an ideology. It's groiperism. It's all that crap. It's all it is. No, they're just, dude, they're crashing out because they know their conscience is really getting at them. That's why. If they didn't support these people, if they didn't look up to these people, why would they get mad? You know what I mean? Here's the thing, guys. I love all these people. I do, absolutely. I love them all. And no, that's not a pretext. I love them all. Would I let them babysit my kids? No, obviously not. But do I love them? Absolutely. Do I pray for them? Yes, 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 yes. I tolerated for a year. Well, not a year. Let's go like 8-9 months. And I tried to be patient with a lot of these guys. I tried to, give them spiritual direction. Not that, I'm in the position to do that, but they would come to me and ask me for advice and I'd give it to them. And then, yeah, like when stuff hits the fan, they're gone. They don't give a rip. They're internet talking heads. Yeah, tell me about it. I'm really trying not to say anything right now. It's tough, but well, I mean, why even you don't why? Thanks. I feel better now that, my Filipino wife and I, it's a legitimate marriage. Really appreciate that. Just guys. Eric, do you think I'm a sede or should I just become Protestant? Well, why are you taking offense? I never said either. All I'm saying, submit to the ordinary universal magisterium, especially when it comes to the death penalty. It's not hard. That's all. Now, everyone that doesn't want to do it, semantics, theological arguments, scholasticism, just patristics, just councils. They'll put together this whole facile argument to pretend that they know more than the ordinary universal magisterium. And I'm just saying, like, wow, you know all this theology, but you can't submit to that? Then maybe, I don't know, work somewhere else or find something else to do. Okay. Just good. Submit to the magisterium. It just baffles me how people they will say anything and everything to get out of submitting to the ordinary universal magisterium on the death penalty. Baffles me. So no, I'm not calling you anything. I'm not saying you should do anything but to submit to the Pope and the ordinary universal magisterium. That's it. It's simple. That's why wisdom is given to little children. Theology is absolutely important and necessary, right? Philosophy is wonderful. Oh, dude, wow. Just, dude, stop with the virtue signaling stuff. That's interesting. I guess I never really looked at it that way. But let's just, okay. I'll work with you, Phyllis. I'll work with you. Let's just say, right, hypothetically, I mean, I don't think it'll happen. Pope Leo or some other future pope, right? I don't know. Develops it more where it's not like inadmissible, but I don't know, temporarily impermissible. I don't know, right? Okay. Well, if that happens, then submit your conscience there. But right now, submit it to Fratelli Tutti. Am I missing something? I don't know. Well, I'm sorry. And guys, I don't mean to label anyone that watches or supports NJF as a groiper, okay? Don't take that as derogatory. I don't know. That's just what you're called, I guess. I don't know. But to me, that's where it comes from. I don't see any other generation talking like this. And again, there are other generations that talk just as immoral or worse. But I'm just saying with these things, it's seriously, it's neocon, Caucasian white supremacy, narrow nationalism. It's diametrically opposed to the social teaching of the Catholic Church. Like if you were to drop the compendium to the social teaching of the Catholic Church on NJF's desk, he would burn it. He would absolutely burn it to ashes. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Really? Christian, seriously, I love you, man. That's what Peter Diamond would say. Like, it's not hard. Yes. Okay. Best comment by far. To me, that's what it is. This autonomous, individualistic religious experience that puts your personal experience above church authority and hierarchy and magisterial authority. Absolutely. Again, that's just been my observation. Oh, dude, seriously. I said hypothetically, like it's not going to happen, but let's just say that it did happen. What I'm saying is don't worry about the future because the future is still in the future. Submit now. But let's just say it did, then worry about it then and submit then. Don't backpedal or I don't know. Just submit to the ordinary universal magisterium. That's all. How can we change Republicans' opinions on the death penalty? Since we usually vote for them because of yeah. Well, I mean, it's cliche and trite as it is. I mean, St. John Paul II. I should pull that up in Evangelium Vitae about. I mean, more or less, it's like voting for someone primarily because like they're pro-life, insofar as like against abortion, is not saying that you proximately have this complicity or whatever in their other policies, such as like the death penalty or a lack of redistribution of wealth or whatever. So, did I miss a super chat? Okay, I will admit, or I'll be open. Tell me precisely, because I'm not saying that I haven't scandalized you. I don't want to scandalize anybody. Tell me precisely how I've scandalized you, and if I have, how can I rectify it? Wow. Dude, right? Guys, you can disagree with me. You can think I'm a boomer moron, and I'd probably laugh with you. I'm just telling you, really, how I've felt and thought for quite some time now. So yeah, I mean but that's yeah. Right on. Oh my gosh, of course. I said it's not gonna. Oh gosh, I can't. Sorry. It's not definitive. Canon law requires you to give religious submission of intellect and will to the ordinary universal magisterium, non-definitive teaching. I'm not like mad. I'm not mad at anyone. I've been discouraged, a little scandalized, whatever, with how Catholics carry themselves. See, bro, oh gosh, I never said, did I call you a sedevacantist? No, I didn't. Like, we're not starting off well, because you're misrepresenting what I said. I did not say you or anyone else was a sedevacantist. What I did say is that you're using sedevacantist ideology or theology. And if you want to go back it up or whatever, but that sedevacantist mentality, yeah, I get there's a stigma to there and it's patronizing. Of course. But I would never, dude, you're not a sedevacantist. That's the ironic part about it. Anyways. And try becoming Protestant if we disagree with me? I might have to rewatch this. If you disagree with the ordinary universal magisterium, guys, what, dude, why are you, I'm not acting like anybody. I'm just saying, as a brother, submit to the universal ordinary magisterium on this. Popally, it's going to get worse, guys. It's going to get so much worse because this is just an off-the-cuff interview. Just wait till that dude that murdered Charlie Kirk gets put on death row. Wait. Let's timestamp this, clip this right now. Wait till you see what Pope Leo is going to do. You think he's going to not say anything? No, he's going to do exactly what Pope Francis did with that convict on death row in Missouri, pleading for that person's life. And we had 2 popes preconciliar that did that as well. I have good reasons to believe the things I do, and you're so glib and okay. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know what it means. I'm a little lost. Bro, I don't know. Tell that to the people that don't agree with the Pope. Oh man, I can honestly say, and I'm not trying to be sanctimonious. I'm not trying to sound superior. I've never for a second, again, it's a grace, so I boast in Christ. I've never for a second in my heart, in my mind, dissented in any way, shape, or form from the ordinary universal magisterium. Never. And that's why it baffles me. Like when I became Catholic, right? When I was confirmed, you know how priests and deacons and whatever, they lay down, and even religious, they lay down on the floor. I didn't do that, but my heart did. You know what I mean? Like this wasn't like I'm going to give half of my submission of intellect and will, or a quarter of it, or, I'll keep some of it. No, I gave everything. I gave everything to the church, and God help me, and God willing, I'll always do that and never hold back. And that doesn't make me better or anything. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, you know what's funny? Dude, do you really want to get into this with me? Seriously. You know how, I'm not even going to respond to that. You know what? I'm not going to respond to that. It's just pure stupidity. Yeah, you know what? Here, check this out. You know why an Eastern Orthodox and a Protestant sided with me? Because you Catholics don't even side with your own Pope. That's the stark reality. So yeah, I would rather have them side with me than people that don't submit to the ordinary universal magisterium. Yeah. Is this all you guys got? Come on, you guys, it just really? Does anyone actually have like a good critique or insult. That's probably called projection, but yeah, since you put it in all caps. I mean, that's all. Really, that's it. I don't submit to the Pope. Oh, he must affirm LGBTQ. Like, no, they say it because they have no argument. They have no argument. They know they're wrong. Their conscience is seriously pricking the you know what out of them, and that's what you do. You resort to ad hominems and tu quoques. No, when did I ever say that? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. What's your name? Sorry, dude. You're talking about the Pope. Okay. Let me kind of agree with you there. I thought it was imprudent. I thought it was very imprudent for whomever was in charge of that, bringing all those guys in there. Fine. Come in. Leave your ideological symbols at the door. So yeah, there you'll get some sympathy from me, and I'll concede to that for sure. What do you want me to say? Wrong? Huh, this is interesting. I haven't kicked anyone out yet. I haven't banned anyone, even all this stuff. Guys, can we just have a kumbaya, hug it out, forgive each other, and just move on? The stream would be way more productive. You actually just went through all papal statements on the DP and explained how none of them. Yes. The thing is I don't have the luxury of the time right now. This is an off the cuff. I had to change my Dudro, you've never super chatted me before. I had to change my topic. We're going to talk about Mormons and Christians and if Mormons are Christians and all that tonight. But then I saw the whole Pope Leo thing. I'm not prepared to do that. I can do that absolutely though. Actually, you know what? I'm writing a paper on this and I absolutely will do this. This is all. Look, I'll make it concise. Everything that Phaser et al. Appeals to, preconciliar, is non-definitive, and I will even concede that Pope Leo's Confession of Faith is definitive. But what it says in the death penalty has nothing to do with whether it's inadmissible or not. That's nothing to do with it. So everything written on the death penalty magisterially, nothing precluded for further development. So you go to the Catechism of the Council of Trent. I think, in my humble opinion, that's the best argument for the death penalty. Catechism of the Council of Trent. It's not infallible. It's binding, but it's not infallible. But there was nothing in it that precluded a further anthropological development. I mean, really, there were popes who promoted torture with capital punishment. What are we going to do with that one? You know what I mean? Or how about burning heretics at the stake? What does Vatican II have to say on that? Why don't you see heretics being burned? You know what I mean? Yeah. And likewise with slavery. Again, slavery is a little apples to oranges, but nonetheless, what about tolerating it out of concession? The DP is in scripture. I just okay, let me okay. Genesis 9:6, right? Well, actually, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. And then the Psalms. Right? And then you got Romans 13. Don't listen to me. Do you really think this has not been brought up until now. I don't know how I missed this. You guys want to know why? At least I kind of know what I'm talking about. Someone, seriously, I want you guys to do this. Someone, because I know how many bishops there are in the world. Someone Google it. How many Catholic bishops are in the world right now? In union with the Bishop of Rome. How many? How many? You're reading something into that that's not there. What Romans 13 is talking about is secular authority being able to wield punitive consequences. Yeah, that's not going away. I mean, okay, thank you. There are 5,430 bishops in the world. Okay. Do you know back when St. John Paul II was Pope? You know, like with collegiality, they will consult bishops in terms of developing, or not developing, but like, I would say developing doctrine, anthropology, stuff like that. So it's a collegial effort. So St. John Paul II, I forget the numbers, but proportionally, like those who were saying that the death penalty should be inadmissible, outlawed, was something like, again, don't quote me on this, okay? Don't quote me on this. 70-30 maybe. So 70 opposed it, 30 said it's fine. Okay. Like this is at the beginning of St. John Paul II's pontificate, right? Well, a few more votes were taken rather. And we are now at the point, so progressively, it's just that gap, right, kept getting smaller and smaller. And those who were in favor of making it inadmissible grew bigger and larger, to the point where literally almost listen to this, guys. You think I'm stupid? You think I'm dumb? You think I'm just rhetoric, crashing out with all this stuff? All the bishops in the world, Catholic bishops, maybe a small handful, under 10 bishops, would disagree with the statement that the death penalty is inadmissible. So you go into this YouTube channel and you listen to me just yap. Ask your bishop, ask your priest. But see, I don't think you're interested in that. You just want to like live in your own, again, no offense, but live in your own, I'll just shut my mouth. I don't want to be mean, but oh gosh, this is like one heck of a stream. Did I miss a super chat? No, I just wish my other friends, maybe I'm not their friend, would just try to understand where I'm coming from and not just like I'm pointing my finger at them and saying, you suck. But I guess, I don't know. I don't know how else. I've tried to do it in person, on the phone, in Discord, all that stuff, to no avail. And the reason why I'm saying all this is because a lot of these guys really, the way they think and act and talk is because of these political ideologues. Not everyone. I'm not encapsulating everyone, but it's just true, especially in the United States. Like we just have these neocon reactionaries that agree with everything that the ordinary universal magisterium teaches, except for those, death penalty, immigration. Daniel sent me a super chat. Okay. Sorry. Hold on just a second. Sorry, Daniel. Wait. Daniel, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. I love you. Why didn't St. Paul submit to St. Peter in his hypocrisy? Daniel, tell me this. I'm going to ask you this. Do you think St. Paul was rebuking St. Peter for his magisterial teaching and authority, or for his immoral behavior? Because we've had plenty of popes that have done way worse things than St. Peter being exclusive in whom he sits down and has lunch with. You know what I'm saying? Yes, obey God rather than men. Sorry. I mean, Daniel, this is what I hear from our non-Catholic friends, dude. That doesn't mean, okay, the gospel also says, whoever hears you hears me. Whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. Okay? You got to understand the context of that is that the secular authorities were trying to oppress and dominate. And they said, no, we'll obey God rather than men. And in a hypothetical situation, let's say a Catholic bishop said, I don't know, you need to have an abortion. Yeah. Your conscience kicks in and says, no, I'm gonna obey God rather than men. But you can't use that as like some universal statement of like, oh, when the Pope and the universal magisterium teaches something that, oh, I'm just gonna obey God. To obey God is to obey the ones he has delegated authority to, namely the Pope. Oh, bring it. Oh, God. I'm not getting started on that. I'm not getting started on that. I'm not getting started on that. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me catch up. Iggy Spammy, I love you. Guys, no. Binding and loosing has, I think, a triple or fourfold principle. I mean, we're talking about like legislation, excommunication, teaching, forgiveness, sacramentology. Like, it's not just forgiveness. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Well, I tell you what. I'm having a live stream here. You guys are all here. I'm having a live stream with Redeemed Zoomer on Monday, a week from yesterday. And we're going to talk about some, not like the death penalty, but some of the things that Catholics are doing online that not the best, not prudent. And that's really making it worse for some people that might be inquiring about Catholicism. And yeah, I will talk about one of those cats, but you got to tune in on Monday. Eric, I have a fun question for you. Shoot. What? What do you mean I betrayed you? Dude, I've had Redeemed Zoomer's my boy. Don't, no. Bro. Oh my gosh, you guys. Here, let me give you a piece of advice, okay? It's entirely possible to love and respect someone that has different political and religious beliefs without compromising your own. So if I have someone that vehemently disagrees with me on something, or is cold, even though I would never say that. What guys, what? Read Evangelii Nuntiandi. Read it. Pope St. Paul VI. Read it. It's all about evangelizing. If you're going to evangelize, you can't do it by tearing people down, by just merely proving that they're wrong, by saying that they're cold, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Like, let's just say, I don't think he is, but let's just say he's cold and, all these heresies, which he's not, but, blah, 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 blah. Well, I want him to stop. I want him to stop, and for the good of his soul and for the good of the faithful and all that stuff, right? Well, how am I going to get him to stop? By saying that this person's a heretic? By saying, oh, you're cold, you're wrong, you're a piece of crap? No. Read Pope St. Paul VI, please. Hold on. I don't think Pope Francis contradicts prior treaty. No Pope claims the DP is intrinsically good. Hey, I wish some other people were here to see that. And it's not even altogether necessary, right? I mean, remember when St. Thomas Aquinas talks about the death penalty, it's not as if he's promoting it or rejecting it per se. He's saying that sometimes, with the necessary conditions for the common good and the protection of individuals, of society, if there are no other means to rehabilitate or, put into detention, then it might be permissible. Yeah, and that's based on civil law, not natural law. Yeah, thanks for the super chat. Guys, I haven't thanked anyone for the super chat. Thank you. Or for the super chat. He's probably my favorite pope. St. John Paul II is pretty good. Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to argue. If I made you feel that way, if I did whatever, I'm sorry. I don't think anyone in here is a set of a contest. What I meant to say, and that's the thing, Ignatius, I didn't call you up on name. I didn't point my finger at you. None of what I said was directed at anybody. That's what I don't understand. What I'm saying is, if you dissent, not you personally, just anyone, if you dissent deliberately, right, with full knowledge from the ordinary universal magisterium on the death penalty, but not only that, but you're appealing to preconciliar theologians, doctors, popes, the whole nine. To me, that's sede mentality. That's sede ideology. That's all I'm saying. If it doesn't apply, if you're not a sede, then forget I said it. It doesn't apply to you. Who am I talking about? I already said NJF. What do you mean? Dishonest? Just because I don't drop a name, I'm being dishonest. Well, if you all know who I'm talking about, how am I dishonest? Oh my gosh, how do you guys even? It just baffles me how some of you guys. Yeah, that's one aspect of it. I wouldn't say that's a criterion for saying that it's inadmissible, though, because the inadmissibility of the death penalty is predicated not necessarily on what the death penalty is, but on the ontological dignity of the human person that can never be lost. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's based on. But as you say, absolutely. That could you imagine someone completely innocent and being put in the electric chair? Okay. So let me just say this, okay? If someone is ruining your peace, I mean, really in real life, but I mean online, because it happens. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. If someone is actually ruining your peace, right, by putting out content, seriously, you can go on YouTube and just hide user from channel. Just do it. I don't know if it's gonna ruin your peace. Now, if it doesn't ruin your peace and you can actually constructively react and criticize or have some sort of ecumenical dialogue, that's what it's all about. But oh, yeah, that was you and the other guys. Yeah, of course. I'm not dishonest. What's there to hide? Again, I'm not judging it. I've been banned from stuff, or I don't know. I was kicked out of high school. But it just went to prove my point on how it's just not like isolated individuals. It was actually like I see these like people flock together in these groups and they act and talk the exact same way. And I finally found out where it came from. And I'm just sharing my observation, not judging anybody. Just saying, like here, Boslack, let me tell it to you like this. Okay. And again, I am not bitter and I don't hold any resentment. I don't. I forgive. I move on. I love. I pray. There have been people that have come onto this channel or onto my Discord or whatever and have almost ruined my channel or have at least damaged it. People have left my channel, Discord, whatever platforms because of this behavior and talk that y'all partake in. So you guys, hey, if you guys all want to just, get in your own little world and just do that, fine. But if you want to change and act like a grown-up Catholic man who can think creatively, critically, and originally, then do it. and then let's all hang out and create and love each other. But dude, I don't want any of that crap. Wait, why would I immediately die if I went to India? Oh my gosh. No. That's not what I said. So you say you gave the impression that people who want to reconcile the past magisterium with the present. No, because that is what we should do. Donum veritatis. That is what we should do. But what people are doing is they're not reconciling the past with the present. What they're doing is they're pitting the past with the present and choosing the past against the present. That is, and again, I'm not calling you or anyone else a sedevacantist, but that is sede mentality and ideology. How is it not? Don't get mad at me. I'm just let's you know what? Let's move on. I probably got to go anyways, but do you think there are alternative interpretations than yours that can harmonize past and absolutely 100%. Well, here's the thing, Echoes, though. This isn't really my interpretation. Yes, I've used critical thinking skills. I've analyzed. I've listened to my conscience. I mean, we all have to do that. But I've researched this. So I'm taking arguments and papal encyclicals and all that stuff, and I'm trying to harmonize it with everything that's been proposed as an opposition to the present magisterium, trying to harmonize it all. And once I get through the weeds of people like Ed Fazer and other people that, cite previous magisterial statements, it's perfect harmony. But I'm saying there are other things you can do, other interpretations, whatever. But again, like I was saying, you either submit to the universal ordinary magisterium on the death penalty or you don't. It's not that hard. And again, the reason why I think people are struggling with this is because people like Ed Fazer puts out a huge book co-authored on how Pope Francis is wrong on everything. And it goes to all the other Pope Francis haters and liars and slanderers. That's why my thumbnail says Pope Francis vindicated. I knew he would be like I wasn't like, everyone's like in a panic. Oh, is this Francis 2.0? Oh my gosh, is he going to undo fiducia superclans? Blah, 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 blah. Why would he? That's not how the pontificates and their predecessors work. They build off of one each other. They develop and they quote each other. Like what kind of infidelity that is if Pope Leo were to like rescind fiducia supplicans or amoris laetitia, even though a lot of the bishops and others want that to happen? No. And like I said, it's going to get really, really, really messed up. This is just like the beginning, because Pope Leo will take the baton from John Paul II, Pope Benedict XVI, and Francis. And he won't pit them against each other like the laity do. It's just the way it is. Oh, hermeneutic of continuity. Well, hey. If you're going to talk about the hermeneutic of continuity, you got to talk about the hermeneutic of what's contrasted to that. Pope Benedict XVI, hermeneutic of rupture. What is that? It goes both ways. So people actually can appeal to the hermeneutic of continuity when they're actually appealing to the hermeneutic of rupture. Oh gosh, I can't go down that road. I cannot go down that road, guys. I think it's bedtime. Let me go through all these super chats and just say thank you. I feel like kind of a punk not saying thank you. Daniel, thank you so much. Eric, thank you. Vatican II, thank you. Humana Vitae, thank you. Odd, thank you. Talus Kangaroo, thank you. Oh, are you still here, Philus? I really appreciate the money. Okay. The emotions have subsided a little bit. I agree. Don't accuse people so rashly. I agree 100%. I mean, being judgmental of someone's culpability to me is like one of the worst things you can do. If I did that, wittingly or unwittingly, I apologize, okay? I do. I don't think I did. If I did, though, my bad. Eric, thank you so much. Eric's such a good supporter. Thank you. Echoes, thank you. Daniel, thank you. Echoes, thank you. Vatican II's base, thank you. Phyllis Maria. Wow, again. Wow. You guys, thank you so much. You guys are loaded. Vatican II, thank you. Echoes, thank you. Echoes, thank you. Daniel, thank you. Deuterocomical, thank you. Vatican II, thank you. Echoes, thank you. Vatican II, thank you. All right. Well, hey, Echoes, did you not put anyone in timeout? Agreed 100%. Especially when you have stakes on the girl. But seriously, I agree with what you just said. Yep. If you're talking to me, thank you. Guys, I get it. We're all human beings. We crash out. We get indignant towards others. We want to, just have a 2-hour live stream, just blasting people that we don't like or I get that. I get that. But I will say this. Don't talk. I'm saying talk. I'm not even saying like slander. Don't talk about someone's wife. Just don't. Like, you know what I mean? It happened. 2 people did that to me, and I'm just like, wow. So that's all I say. Don't like, we can even be kind of firm and a little harsh or whatever on somebody, but yeah, gosh, there's a line, and that's it was a quasi crash out maybe. The Mormon video is going to have to wait. Well, for what it's worth, for anyone who's still listening, okay, you might not believe me. You might think I'm whatever, disingenuous. You might think this is just a guise, just so I can justify my whatever diatribe here. But again, I really mean this. Every person that I had in my mind that I don't know, indirectly, cryptically, whatever, displayed my frustration with. Notice that I don't see you as just some random theological object or some Groyper object or some Sede object or whatever. I did this. I've been thinking about this and praying about this. I did this not to just simply rant and make people feel, inadequate. I'm doing it because a lot of these people that I'm thinking about in my head have more talent in their toe than I do in my whole body when it comes to apologetics and theology. Hands down. But I just want them to realize that it's just so vain if it's not predicated on humility and love and even prudence. And yes, I've been imprudent. I've done things rashly, and yeah. Okay, that was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. Oh, I don't know. Guys, I'm just saying, though, that's been building up for 9 months. It's been building up for 9 months. So I got it out. I hope everyone can get some element of truth or some goodness out of it. And let's all just get along, guys. We have to unite. Even if you hate me, even if I hate, I don't think I do, but even if I hate somebody, guys, we got to get past that. We got to love each other. Pope St. Paul VI says the biggest motive of credibility or motive of credential, the biggest motive for credentiality in evangelizing as Catholics is unity. So when he sees when non-Catholics see us united in love, evangelizing, that is more edifying and magnetic than anything else. And when we're divided and we're fighting, Catholics are fighting against each other and making videos about each other and all this other stuff, that's my point. That will actually deter people from wanting to become Catholic. And God forbid some non-Catholic watched my stream and decided, well, who's this quack? Yeah, I ain't becoming Catholic. Oh, God forgive me. Because that's the last thing I want to do. So I'm just trying to help is all. So yeah, if you think I'm a moron, imprudent, I don't know what I'm talking about, fine. If it means that we can all just change, love each other, have fidelity to Christ's church and his magisterium, and evangelize out of true love and not proselytizing. All right, guys, I got to go. Whew. What a stream, huh? I have my parents in town. I probably won't go live until Friday, maybe Saturday. So, guys, seriously, okay, I know it's the tail end. Seriously, please, just say one Hail Mary for me in this channel, okay? This whole apologetics up and down, this whole ride, bro, it's polarizing. It just is. It's really, it's tough. Yeah. Please just say one Hail Mary for me, and then I'll pray for you guys, okay? Hey, Seven Spence here. I met him at the Catholic Answers Conference. How you doing, bud? I said, you should go into one of my live streams. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it was, sorry, this was almost a 2-hour live stream. You can go back and watch it. It got pretty heated at some times. But I'm not gonna lie, the prayers in Latin sound so much better, just phonetically. All right. Again, guys, seriously, if I offended, if I scandalized, I am sorry. Message me somehow, okay? Please. Because some of those guys that I kind of, whatever, indirectly went at, I consider friends. So, all right. Love you guys. Praise be Jesus and Mary. And seriously, let's pray for each other always. Thanks, guys.